Welcome to Ghoulish Gab, always spooky, always under 7 minutes. Today we're just going to talk about some B-movie suggestions. Nothing more complex than that.
Yeah.
I want to start off with the one that I used to rent on video when I was younger. And there's B-movies and then there's B-movies. It's called Splatter Farm. It's from 1987. I'm pretty sure most of this was shot on like handheld VHS cameras and there's not much of a budget here. This is definitely the lowest budget film I'm going to talk about ever in one of these things. But a young twin boys are sent to live at their aunt's farm, and for the summer or whatever. And they find out that the handyman there is just this insane guy who's been chopping people up and keeping body parts in the barn. But this movie, it's not great. As far as the pacing is awful, it is slow, but like there's some weird scenes in there, and if you are just looking for something really obscure and ridiculous that has a couple scenes that make the whole movie worth it, and if you're running out of other B movies to watch, find your way to Splatter Farm.
Alrighty. My first one is actually an answer to an inquiry I had a while ago. I don't know if you all remember me being really emphatic about needing the name of this movie that was kind of like fantasy horror. It's Ink from 2009. It was released in like a very small, short amount of period, like kind of as like a peer-to-peer review, and got popular that way. Lower budget. It's about this man who's this businessman, right? He's too busy for his family, but he ends up in an accident, and then he kind of we're assuming he dies. And then all of a sudden he's in this magical world where there are these storytellers who are the bringers of good dreams. They're kind of like fairies. And then there are these incubi, which are the bringer of nightmares. And they don't have TV heads. I was incorrect. They have glasses where the lenses look kind of like fuzzy TVs / glowing TVs.
That's creepy.
And then there's this character named Ink who has stolen this man's daughter's soul and is going to try to take it to become an incubi. And then as a twist at the end, like they go through all these crazy adventures, at this twist at the end, it turns out he is Ink. And then he goes through all this stuff, manages to save his daughter. It ends with the movie like everything's good. It's a happy ending. I'm just pre-warning you. If you're somebody who likes horrible nightmare endings, this is not the movie for you. But it's good, and I really think you all should watch it.
Yeah. Do watch it. Because she said so.
Because I said so.
I want to talk about Laid to Rest from 2009. I think this is an underrated B-movie slasher. There is a sequel as well, too, which is also good. But in this one, a young girl wakes up in a casket with, like, no memory of really who she is or what's going on, for a while. And, of course, it turns out she's abducted by a serial killer, slasher, whatever you want to call it. And, she's got to fight to survive. But the killer in there, Chrome Skull, which, I mean, you could probably imagine what he looks like. He just has a mask it's a chrome skull. And it's just a really cool, slick slasher villain that I really like and think is underrated. And, I said check that out. And there's a Laid to Rest 2 as well. So, like a mask that if you saw it chasing you down the street, you'd definitely be like, fuck this, and then, run away. Yeah. All right. I could watch. I've never seen that one. I'd check it out. So this is one I skipped past for years. Every time it would pop up on streaming services, I finally gave it a shot and was pleasantly surprised. 1978's Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Yes.
So every time you're scrolling through screens, you're just like, oh, I know, that looks stupid. And so you skip past it. I finally watched it. It's hilarious. Mm-hmm. So it's a parody film. They open up the whole thing talking about how when Birds came out, everybody thought it was so ridiculous that Birds would never attack until it actually happened just a few years later after Birds happened. And then it cuts to this scene of this tomato rising out of a woman's garbage disposal. And then later, when the police are investigating this crime scene, they're like, oh, this isn't blood, it's tomato juice. And the whole movie is filled with a lot of these ridiculous kill scenes with splatter, and then the splatter is either blood or tomato guts. And it's totally worth a watch. I got some good laughs out of it. I was just in my house by myself giggling as the movie was happening, so good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I think you definitely you have to watch it once. It's just so ridiculous. It's great. I'm gonna go with Stung from 2015 for my next one. This is definitely a direct to video movie that has a bit of a bigger budget, but great effects. So a fancy garden party, is attacked by a colony of like giant 7-foot killer mutant wasps, and it's crazy. You have the the catering people and the other staff and the guests of this party all trying to survive, and of course there's not many survivors by the end because these wasps are just massive and ruthless. But if you need like a big creature movie, this is great. And it's also pretty funny too. The gore is good. There's a lot of splatter stuff in there, and it's I've watched it a couple times because it's funny and it's ridiculous, and it's just they capture the the heart of the B movie in essence as opposed to the budget.
And for my last one, real quick, it was a direct to streaming movie on Hulu, and I believe it's still on there. We actually watched it together for the first time. 2023's Slaughter House.
Yes.
It's so funny. The premise is the sorority girl is trying really hard to campaign to become the president of her sorority. So she steals a sloth from a rainforest and brings it back as her sorority house pet. And then
logical.
Yep. And then just like that, the sloth starts slowly killing the sorority girls. It's great. Check
slowly.
it out.
Keyword slowly. Yes.
Well, tell us about some of your favorite B movies, and maybe we'll check them out, because I'm a little behind in this subject. I need to catch up. Okay, bye.